Lucifer is such a goofy dad who is insecure, a little insane, and has an strained relationship with his daughter that he's really regretful over. He has an obsession with rubber ducks and is very awkward around people.
Oh, this is the first time she's called you in years. This has to be perfect. Hey!
Hi, Dad.
The dialogue written for him is hilarious and also very relatable.
Take that, depression!
So, I previously did a review for the first half, the first 4 episodes of Hazbin Hotel, and I do encourage people to check out that original review. As I said in that one, I'm a huge fan of adult animation, and we have received some truly amazing adult animated projects recently over the last few years, like Arcane, Blue Eye Samurai, most recently. But in terms of independent adult animated projects, I really enjoyed the works of Vivian Medrano with the pilot episode of Hazbin Hotel from 2019 and its YouTube sister series, Hell the Boss. And it's been great to see that pilot fully realized with this season and a second season of Hazbin Hotel on the way thanks to the backing of A24 and the distribution of Amazon. The first 4 episodes, I think, did a great job introducing us to the main and supporting characters of the season, like Charlie Morningstar and Alistair the Radio Demon, Vaggie, Husk, and, of course, many others, countless other supporting and tertiary characters. I love the animation style, and the songs have all been fantastic as well. If I had any major criticisms, sometimes I think the humor was hit or miss, particularly when it came to the more, sexual-themed jokes. However, I really enjoyed what I've seen so far, but for those that, again, need a bit of a background for these next 4 episodes, and again, for the series itself, as Charlie Morningstar tries to reconnect with her father, Lucifer, in an effort to gain his support for her grand ideas for the hotel, Heaven and Adam, the first man and the leader of the angels, bide their time for the next extermination of hell, and more is slowly revealed about Alistair, the radio demon. So I personally feel that these last 4 episodes are even better than the season's first 4 episodes. Not that I didn't like those, first 4 episodes. I absolutely did. But these 4 feel a little more confident in terms of the storytelling, moving the plot along, introducing new characters, and providing more character depth and growth for the characters that we know of, and also for the characters that are introduced, along with all the things that worked about the first 4 episodes, like, again, the animation, the choreography, the musical numbers, even the comedy felt stronger here. It was not as overly reliant to me on the sexual humor, and instead featured more clever writing and better visual gags as well. And one of the absolute best things that these last 4 episodes introduced was the character of Lucifer, voiced by Jeremy Jordan, who is Charlie's dad and the ruler of hell. To be honest, I fully expected the character to be what we often see with Lucifer adaptations: evil, manipulative, cruel, etc. What we expect. But what we got was the complete opposite. And I'm so happy about that. Lucifer is such a goofy dad who is insecure, a little insane, and has an strained relationship with his daughter that he's really regretful over. He has an obsession with rubber ducks and is very awkward around people.
Oh, this is the first time she's called you in years. This has to be perfect. Hey!
Hi, Dad.
The dialogue written for him is hilarious and also very relatable.
Take that, depression!
Next to Alistair, to be perfectly honest, he's probably my favorite character, and he gets some of the best musical numbers in the first season. And again, we're introduced to a number of other new characters as well, like Cherry Bomb, who's this Australian Cyclops who's really good friends with Angel Dust. Her relationship with Sir Pincheth is one of the funniest gags over the last several episodes. We also get a better sense of Heaven as well when Charlie and Vaggie go to make their, case about, the hotel, Hazbin Hotel, and what it can be. And we meet, the angelic seraphim led by Sarah, who wants to kind of maintain the status quo, and Emily, who quickly befriends Charlie and pretty much treats her like a sister. They're practically related, it feels like. And they have a really cute relationship, I feel. And it's here where we also learn more about Vaggie and her past, and we get a better sense of who she is as a person, the secrets that she's been hiding, and how all of that puts her relationship to the test with Charlie. Like Vaggie, I think Stephanie Beatrice, I think, has done a good job voicing the character in those first 4 episodes, but she's kind of always been in the background. She's gotten some song numbers, she's had a couple of scenes that stood out, but here she's more in the forefront. They do more with her, and I like that we learn more about her along the way, and that creates some interesting scenarios. They create some conflict, and we finally see those cute moments. I was talking about how I wanted to see some of those cute moments between Charlie and Vaggie that I feel like we're kind of missing from the first 4 episodes. I thought, like, when you think of like Hell of a Boss, you always think of like the really cute moments between Moxie and Millie and how adorable they are together. I was like, I want to see some of those moments between, Charlie and Vaggie. And we finally get to those moments. They have a little bit of a tumultuous relationship at some points, although it makes sense for what we learn about Vaggie and what she did and chose not to do, but really liked what they ended up doing with her in these last 4. And in later episodes, we're also introduced to a new demon overlord that we've only kind of like briefly seen before, like several episodes ago, and that's Rosie, the ruler of Cannibal Town, and a very close friend of Alistair. She's voiced by Leslie Kritzer, and she's this Victorian-esque demon. And despite being a cannibal, she's actually quite kind and very helpful and acts very motherly to Charlie, and ends up actually giving her some fantastic advice at one point. Again, like you see these characters, you think they're going to be like one thing, and then when they finally get their voice and they finally interact with these people that we all know and love, it's like, it's not who I expected them to be at all. And I kind of like that. They kind of subverted my expectations, but in a great way, in a very fulfilling way. And that was certainly the case with a character like Rosie, the Victorian cannibal. And of course, I'd be remiss not to mention Alistair again, who gets a lot more to do in these last 4 episodes, particularly in episodes 5, 7, and 8. He has a hilarious rivalry with Lucifer.
You might have heard of me from my radio broadcast.
Nope. I guess that's why Charlie called it the Hazbin Hotel. Ha ha ha.
Ha ha ha. It was actually my idea.
Ha ha ha. Well, it's not very clever.
Ha ha. Fuck you.
Okay, anyway.
And they have this great dueling duet. And he continues to walk this interesting tightrope of serving others and also himself at the same time. There's some interesting moments that reveal a little bit more about like why he's actually at the hotel and his kind of true motivations. But for the first time ever, we see him actually conflicted over something, and his smiling kind of facade falters, if just a bit. And he also, again, continues to just be one of the absolute funniest characters in the entire series, on the entire show. Lastly, the finale, I think, is great. They didn't hold back in terms of the animation, and they provide us with a fantastic battle between the forces of heaven and hell. Recurring and guest characters return to participate or observe in the battle. You know, heroes and villains square off against in epic fashion. Some survive and some fall and do die. And all of these moments, I think, are handled with great drama and also humor at the same time. It's a really satisfying finale to this season. You know, and again, it ends the first season on a very strong note. And it sets up a lot of interesting things for a number of characters, particularly with Alistair, and provides us with an idea of who else will be involved in the conflict going forward. So, again, I really enjoyed this series, particularly these last 4 episodes. And, you know, not that it needs to be said, but the music, chat, the songs. Like, I can understand if, like, maybe this animation style is not your thing. Maybe you're not a fan of the humor, but the songs, again, if you grew up a Renaissance era Disney kid and you watch those movies in the theater like I did, you own those movies on VHS like I did, in those clamshells, you're going to probably love these. There's some great ones, particularly in the last, you know, four episodes. Again, songs that are dramatic, some that are funny, and others that are, you know, quite sad. I think they did a great job, and I think it also addressed a lot of the issues that some people probably have those first 4 episodes in regards to the comedy, and maybe also in regards to the storytelling. Maybe they thought it was meandering a little bit. Like, what's the point of all this? They kind of up the pacing, in my opinion, and we get to a lot of big characters and the big conflicts, and, you know, some things are revealed about a number of our cast members, and they also managed to set up some great stuff, I imagine, for season 2, which we'll see executed, hopefully in great fashion. But yeah, I was a huge fan of this series. I really enjoyed it. I highly recommend it. Again, if you love animated Disney musical stuff, but also if you're just a fan of kind of like 90s-esque animation, if you happen to be a fan of the works of someone like, I don't know, a Craig McCracken or a Jenny Tartovsky, you know, stuff like, you know, from like Powerpuff Girls or Dexter's Laboratory. It's kind of done in that same style. I think you might really like that. If you have a taste for that kind of style along with that type of music, I think you're going to get a lot out of this particular show. And also its sister series, Hell of a Boss, which I recommend. So there's going to be some time in between season 2. I think it's going to come out relatively soon. I think season 2 is also supposed to come out in 2024. I could be wrong about that, but I know it's supposed to come out very, very soon. But in the meantime, you can catch up on Hell of a Boss, which I need to as well, because I haven't seen the last several episodes. And I heard that's even better for this particular season. But what about you guys? How did you feel about Hell of a Boss? Or excuse me. Actually, I want to know, how do you feel about Hell of a Boss? But how did you feel about Hazbin Hotel Season 1, these last 4 episodes? Did you like it as much as I did? Did you actually not like it as much as I did? Were you more mixed on it? Please, as always, let me know.
5 minutes later.
V is gross. The V's, yeah, they are. Absolutely. I think they are, although they were kind of charming with them. The thing that's weird about the V's, even though they are very much villains and they do not have the best, they don't have good intentions or care about the denizens of hell. They would just want to. I mean, literally, their part of the end song is them just like, you fucking cattle, you know, that we can exploit now, because there's a power vacuum to an extent. They are very selfish, but you get the sense they're all friends, though, in a weird way. Like, they all actually really like each other, which is kind of crazy to me. They have like this moment where they're all hanging out and they're like kind of cuddling with each other and shit. I was like, I don't know. I found that. I think that's like the one thing about them that's like appealing in terms of their personalities. I mean, I like their designs and everything. They're great and they have some great songs. But it's the one wholesome thing about them is like they're actually friends, which is kind of weird. So that was fun. That was really, really fun.